A unique violin and bow handmade in Sarnia 130 years ago has surfaced at an outdoor antique show in California, and it could be coming home. Christian Chaffee, an antiques dealer in San Diego, bought the instrument in Long Beach, California, and said he knew instantly it was special. So wrote Kathy Dobson in the Sarnia Observer last June. Now, courtesy of the philanthropy of Norm and Judy Alex, the violin is back home, here at the Lambton Heritage Museum. Join me and museum curator Robert Tremaine as we take a closer look. What did this antique dealer find? He found a handmade violin created out of hard maple, with several phrases penciled on the inside of the violin. That's how Mr. Chaffee found its original home. Where was it created? We know that Dennis OMeara crafted this fine instrument and its bow on property belonging to Colonel Robert Faithorn, son-in-law of Henry Jones. The Colonel's home, erected about 1875, is now the library in Brights Grove. When was it created? We don't know for sure when it was begun. According to one of the penciled notes inside, it does say that it was built by the creator Dennis OMeara while he was in his teens, and that it was finished in 1877. How was it created? One of the notes inside the violin says that this fiddle was dug out of tree soft maple with a chisel and knife, neck sounder and back all in one. Another note says there was more maple growing than was ever taken out of the bush in this area, the bush being part of the Faithorn land in what we now know as Brights Grove. Who was the creator? Research indicates that a man by the name of Dennis OMeara, son of a worker of Colonel Faithorn's during the time of the Fenian Scare in the 1860s, a potential Irish rebellion here in Canada. From the 1911 Ontario census, Dennis OMeara shows as the head of a household, a single man born March 1859, now 52. Living in the same household was Catherine O'Brien, a cousin, about 5 years older than Dennis. We also know that both of these individuals emigrated to the United States through Port Huron in February 1913. Dennis, at the time age 47, shows as Irish in origin, a farmer living in the community of Blackwell. The destination of both of them is shown as Los Angeles. Emigration records go on to show that they were going to live with his brother Philip in Los Angeles. If you look closely, you can see that Dennis had $1,000 with him at the time, a surprisingly large amount. Most people crossing the border had very little money, many of them less than $50 as shown on these records. Jumping ahead to the 1920 census of the Los Angeles area, we find Dennis is listed as a farmer, living with his cousin Catherine, in a household maintained by his brother James, who is shown as a painter. Dennis left this world on the 24th of May of 1930 in California, likely somewhere near Los Angeles. At the time he would have been 70, and may have lost his life as a result of military action based on another entry inside his violin stating Revolution 1930. There's yet another mystery. Dennis included a note inviting whoever takes this fiddle apart to see if they could find him. We still don't know when this was written, whether it refers to finding him physically or just to determining the identity of the person who created this wonderful violin. Perhaps we will never know. The care and craftsmanship shown by its creator is so very obvious, from the handmade bow of horsehair to the cut-out F-holes on the front of the violin, and the inlay of both bone and shell on the violin itself. As personal touches, Dennis included a carving of what may have been his dog when he was a boy. Being Irish, of course he included a shamrock. The tuning area created out of shell and the hand-carved tuning pegs add to the appeal of the violin. Carved out of one piece of maple, this violin and its bow are now on display at the Lambton Heritage Museum. While the story of Dennis OMeara and his violin are not yet fully known, I have created a possible tale about the violin as one of a group of stories told in a book published this year under the title Strands of Time. This book is now available through the Lambton County Library System.